Very good afternoon. This is the midday news on Sabha TV. All the developing news stories at the top of one. Coming up ahead, I am Aishwarya with you. Let us start the news bulletin with the headlines. Centre's team visits KOTA hospital as toll rises to 107 with another infant's death. National Human Rights Commission seeks report from Rajasthan government. Lok Sabha Speaker and KOTA MP Om Birla meets deceased children's families. Commission for Child Rights summons CMO of the KOTA hospital. Government won't budge on decision to implement Citizenship Amendment Act, asserts Home Minister Amit Shah. Dares opposition for a debate on the act. BJP to begin 10-day mass contact drive from 5th of January to support CAA. India strongly condemns the vandalism at Nankana Sahib Gurudwara in Pakistan, tells Pakistani government to take strong action against the miscreants. Fresh US airstrike on pro-Iran convoy in Iraq kills 5 members of militia. US President says action taken to stop war, not to start one. UN Secretary General says cannot afford another Gulf war. India also advises restraint. And 28th edition of a World Book Fair begins at Pragati Maidan in Delhi to focus on Mahatma Gandhi as a writer. Over 600 publishers from 23 countries participating. Our top stories from Rajasthan, where the death toll at KOTA's JK Lone Hospital continues to rise, with another infant's death being reported today. And with this, the overall death toll of infants at KOTA's JK Lone Hospital has now risen to 107. All of the infants died at the state-run hospital in KOTA, Rajasthan, within a month's period. Now, taking note of the situation, a team from the centre visited hospital to take stock of the situation. The high-level team, comprising experts from AIIMS, Jodhpur and health economists, will assess the infrastructural gaps and measures to be taken to prevent future deaths. Meanwhile, Lok Sabha Speaker and KOTA MP Om Birla today met the family members of the infants who died in the hospital. He expressed concerns over the deaths and urged the state government to act with sensitivity.
व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी मुझे पीड़ा है कि हम उनके बच्चों को नहीं बचा पाए, और जो बयां उन्होंने की, निश्चित रूप से जेके लोन हॉस्पिटल की हालतों को सुधार करना चाहिए। वहाँ जो भी इक्विपमेंट उपकरण की कमी है, मानव संसाधन की कमी है, उसको पूरा करना चाहिए। मैंने केंद्रीय मंत्री जी से भी इसमें चर्चा की, अधिकारियों से बात की, राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री से भी मैंने 2 बार चिट्ठी लिखी। मैंने राज्य सरकार को भी आग्रह किया है कि इस विपदा की घड़ी में, संकट की घड़ी में हम किस तरीके से नवजात शिशु और बच्चों को बचा सकते हैं। इसके लिए जो भी इक्विपमेंट की आवश्यकता होगी, मैं जन सहयोग से, कई सरकारी एजेंसियों से, कई निजी CSR के तहत मैं तुरंत प्रभाव से उपलब्ध करा दूंगा।
Meanwhile, the National Human Rights Commission has issued a notice to the Rajasthan government over the deaths in KOTA. Taking suo motu cognizance of the media reports, the Human Rights Panel observed that the painful death of children in such a large number is a matter of concern. In a statement released on Friday, the Commission said that the state is duty-bound to provide a basic necessary medical care to its citizens. The NHRC has also sought a detailed report within 4 weeks from the Chief Secretary of the state, including on the steps being taken to address the issue. The National Commission for the Protection of Human Rights also has issued summons to the Chief Medical Officer of the hospital.
व्यवस्था बिल्कुल सही नहीं है और अभी काम हो रहा है वो भी कोई सही नहीं हो रहा है। संतोषजनक काम नहीं है अभी। अभी मंत्री जी आ रहे हैं, इस वजह से आपको ऐसा दिख रहा है कुछ काम हो रहा है, अन्यथा कुछ काम नहीं है।
कुछ व्यवस्था नहीं है, ना हीटर है ना कुछ है। क्या तीन तीन के मतलब ना बच्चे एक बेड पे पड़े हुए हैं, इसलिए संक्रमण हो रहे हैं यहाँ पे लोग। कि व्यवस्था नाम की चीज नहीं है, लोग ठंड से मारे जा रहे हैं बेचारे गरीब लोग।
कुछ भी नहीं है, साफ सफाई 2 दिन तक शाम रहे थे और रात को दूसरा ना लाए 13,500 का वो आने थे वो हीटर जब 4,10 पलंग जाने जाके घर में आई वहाँ का दूसरा।
Now, besides KOTA, deaths of 10 infants in the month of December has also been reported from a hospital in Bundi in Rajasthan. The hospital administration, in its clarification, said that the deaths of children occurred due to various causes and saying that it was not due to their irresponsibility.
पूरे एक महीने में 1 जनवरी से लेकर 31 दिसंबर तक 10 बच्चों की मृत्यु हुई, अलग अलग बीमारियों से हुई है। और कुछ बच्चे जैसे बाहर से भी रेफर होके आए थे और कुछ बच्चे कम वजन के बच्चे थे, किसी के सांस लेने में तकलीफ थी और गंदा पानी पी गए थे कुछ बच्चे, उस कारण से हुआ था।
On to some other news now. India has condemned vandalism at the revered Nankana Sahib Gurudwara in Pakistan. In a statement, the Ministry of External Affairs said that strong action must be taken against those behind the disarray of the Nankana Sahib Gurudwara and the attack on the Sikh community in Pakistan. The statement said that the members of the minority Sikh community have been subjected to acts of violence in the holy city of Nankana Sahib, which is the birthplace of Guru Nanak Dev. The Ministry of External Affairs called upon the Pakistani government to take immediate steps to ensure the safety, security and welfare of its Sikhs in the country. It also asked them to take all measures to protect and preserve the sanctity of the holy Nankana Sahib Gurudwara. Meanwhile, in a Twitter message, Punjab Chief Minister Amarinder Singh has asked the Pakistani Prime Minister to intervene into the matter after the reports of stone pelting on Gurudwara Nankana Sahib. And the Ministry of External Affairs on Friday also criticized Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan for spreading fake news. Now, Imran Khan, remember, had tweeted a video of what he claimed was the police action in Uttar Pradesh, but it turned out to be an incident in Bangladesh. Now, he shared the video on his Twitter handle, claiming that it was of a police violence targeting Muslims in Uttar Pradesh. And Twitter users soon called out the Pakistani Prime Minister for tweeting fake news to target India. Later, the tweeted videos were deleted from his account. And Home Minister Amit Shah has said that the government will not budge on its decision to implement the Citizenship Amendment Act despite the opposition's misinformation campaign. Addressing a gathering in Jodhpur on Friday, Amit Shah confirmed that CAA was not against minorities. Amit Shah also launched an awareness program under which the BJP will take out 500 rallies across the country to reach out to 3 crore people of the country. He also challenged the opposition for a discussion on CAA while accusing it of spreading misinformation on the act. Amit Shah asserted that there was no provision in the Citizenship Amendment Act to take anyone's citizenship away.
महात्मा गांधी जी का वादा था, क्या गांधी जी सांप्रदायिक थे? देश की संसद में जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने कहा था कि जो हिंदू और सिख आए हैं उनको हम नागरिकता देंगे, इसको यहां बसाएंगे। क्या वो भी सांप्रदायिक थे? सरदार पटेल, मौलाना आजाद, राजेंद्र बाबू, ये सारे लोगों ने कहा था, मगर कांग्रेस पार्टी वोट बैंक के डर से हिम्मत नहीं कर रही। एक 56 इंच की छाती वाला आदमी नरेंद्र मोदी है।
And Union Minister Piyush Goyal also accused the opposition parties of instigating youngsters on the Citizenship Amendment Act and triggering violence by spreading wrong perception about the new law. Now, speaking at an event in Mumbai held on Friday, Piyush Goyal alleged that the Congress has become directionless and in its bid to remain relevant, it is trying to spread rumors and spark violence. He reiterated that the CAA won't take away the citizenship of any Indian.
मैं समझता हूँ विपक्ष शायद कंफ्यूज्ड है या एक डेलिब्रेट प्लान के हिसाब से कोशिश कर रहा है कि जनता को कंफ्यूज किया जाए इस सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट के बारे में। गलतफहमियों के आधार पर अलग अलग स्थानों पे हिंसा की भी वारदात करने की कोशिश की। देश भर में हमारे नेता, हमारे कार्यकर्ता लोगों से संपर्क करेंगे। अंदाजन 3 करोड़ परिवारों के साथ अगले 10 दिन में संपर्क होगा और जो गलतफहमियां प्रसिद्ध करने की कोशिश हुई है उसको हम खत्म करने के लिए प्रयास करेंगे।
And in related news, top BJP leaders led by party president Amit Shah will start a massive drive to make people aware and mobilize support for the Citizenship Amendment Act. In the 10-day-long exercise, starting 5th of January, BJP leaders will visit households across the country. Home Minister Amit Shah will be in the national capital, while party working president JP Nadda will visit households in Ghaziabad on the first day of the campaign. And other union ministers who will launch campaigns include Nitin Gadkari in Nagpur, Rajnath Singh in Lucknow, Nirmala Sitharaman in Jaipur. And speaking to the media, BJP General Secretary Anin Jain said that Muslims have no reasons to worry over any citizenship exercise, be it NPR or NRC. He also accused the opposition parties of misleading the minorities by stoking their fears and concerns for political reasons.
देश में जो घर घर संपर्क अभियान है, इसके तहत हमने 5 तारीख को लॉन्चिंग का कार्यक्रम रखा है। 5 तारीख को एक साथ पार्टी के सभी वरिष्ठ नेता कहीं ना कहीं घर घर संपर्क अभियान प्रारंभ करेंगे और उसमें माननीय अमित शाह जी दिल्ली से, श्री जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी जो हमारे कार्यकारी अध्यक्ष हैं वो गाजियाबाद से, माननीय राजनाथ सिंह जी लखनऊ से, नितिन गडकरी जी नागपुर से, ऐसे सभी वरिष्ठ नेता और सभी मुख्यमंत्री, पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री, उप मुख्यमंत्री इस कार्यक्रम का शुभारंभ करेंगे।
An Uttar Pradesh government has sent a report to the centre seeking a ban on the organisation Popular Front of India for indulging in violence during last month's anti-CAA protests. PFI's Uttar Pradesh head Wasim and 16 other activists have been arrested for their alleged role in violence during anti-CAA protests. Now, UP police said that they have enough evidence of PFI's involvement in the recent violence during protests in Lucknow and other districts of the state.
PFI जो है वो सक्रिय रूप से इसमें इन्वॉल्व रहा है। यही कारण है कि हमने 25 उनके सक्रिय मेंबर्स को गिरफ्तार किया। हमारे पास एम्पल प्रूफ्स हैं, डॉक्यूमेंटेशंस हैं, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फुटप्रिंट्स हैं, हमारे पास डेटा एक्सट्रैक्शंस के जितने भी वो हैं उन सबों से हमें ये प्रतीत होता है कि उनका इन्वॉल्वमेंट रहा है। उन्होंने बहुत ही सक्रिय रूप से मोबिलाइज किया है और इस मोबिलाइजेशन में PFI का हाथ रहा है और यही कारण है कि हमने गृह विभाग को अनुरोध किया है कि हम इस पर अग्रिम कार्रवाई करें।
On to some other news now. Former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram was questioned by the Enforcement Directorate in connection with a money laundering case on Friday. Chidambaram's statement was recorded under the Prevention for Money Laundering Act. The case pertains to alleged losses suffered by Air India due to the alleged multi-crore aviation scam and irregularities in fixing air slots for international airlines. News from Jammu and Kashmir now. A Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist was arrested by Jammu and Kashmir police and security forces on late Friday night. The terrorist, identified as Nisar Dar, had earlier escaped from an encounter in Kullan village of Ganderbal district in which one Pakistani terrorist was killed. Dar belonged to the LET outfit. Meanwhile, a grenade attack has been reported in Old Srinagar's Kaudara area today. Suspected terrorists lobbed a grenade towards CRPF troops that were deployed in the area. In midday news, time for a very short break. We'll be right back with more news. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back after the break. The top international focus that we are tracking this afternoon. Tensions have escalated between the United States and Iran after the killing of Iranian commander Qasem Soleimani in a strike ordered by US President Donald Trump. Now, Baghdad's television reported that a fresh US airstrike targeted a commander in Iraq's Hashed al-Shabi paramilitary force early Saturday. The official said that 5 members of the militia were killed. The official added that the identity of those killed was not immediately known. Meanwhile, the United States is sending 3,000 more army troops to the Middle East as reinforcements. They are in addition to about 700 soldiers who were deployed in Kuwait earlier this week after the storming of the US embassy compound in Baghdad by Iran-based militiamen and their supporters.
We are a peace-loving nation, and my administration remains firmly committed to establishing peace and harmony among the nations in the world. We do not seek war. We do not seek nation building. We do not seek regime change. But as president, I will never hesitate to defend the safety of the American people.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has defended the airstrike on Soleimani as wholly lawful, saying that Soleimani posed an imminent threat against the United States and its interests in the region. Pompeo also called world leaders and defended Trump's decision to order the airstrike. Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary General has also expressed deep concern by the recent rise in tensions in the Middle East. He said that he is deeply concerned about the recent rise in tensions where the United States killed top Iranian commander Soleimani following violent protests at its embassy in Baghdad.
Earlier this morning, we issued the following statement attributable to the spokesman for the Secretary General. The Secretary General has consistently advocated for de-escalation in the Gulf. He is deeply concerned with the recent escalation. This is a moment in which leaders must exercise maximum restraint. The world cannot afford another war in the Gulf.
Meanwhile, amid rising tensions, India has appealed for calm to both Iran and the US. Amid rising tensions between the two countries, the External Affairs Ministry asserted in a statement that we have noted that a senior Iranian leader has been killed by the United States. The increase in tension has alarmed the world. Peace, stability and security in this region is of utmost importance to India. It is vital that the situation does not escalate further. The statement further said that India has consistently advocated restraint and it continues to do so. And in more international news, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison has called up 3,000 military reserve troops to combat the reigning bushfire in the country, which has so far claimed the lives of 23 people in the country. Morrison said that 23 deaths have been confirmed so far, including the two in a blaze on a highway on Kangaroo Island in South Australia. The ongoing bushfire crisis continues to worsen the deadly conditions in New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia. More than 14,000 hectares of land have been destroyed in South Australia's Flinders Chase Park in Kangaroo Island. Meanwhile, evacuation orders are in place across the Victoria region and the Navy is ferrying evacuees to relief centres. And Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison has called off his 4-day visit to India from 13th of January due to the devastating bushfires in several parts of its country. Morrison was scheduled to hold extensive bilateral talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi during the visit. The Australian Prime Minister was also scheduled to deliver the inaugural address at the Raisina Dialogue, which is the flagship annual lecture series organised by the Ministry of External Affairs. An earlier Prime Minister Modi held a telephonic conversation with his Australian counterpart, during which he conveyed his heartfelt condolences on the behalf of all Indians on the damage to life and property in Australia due to the severe and prolonged bushfires. He also offered India's support to Australia and the Australian people who are bravely facing this unprecedented calamity. All right, let's get to some weather updates. Delhi recorded a minimum temperature of 8 degrees Celsius this morning, and the Met Department has said that maximum temperature is expected to be around 23 degrees Celsius. Moderate to dense fog was seen at many places in the national capital, with the visibility dropping to 100 meters at Safdarjung. And weather experts have said that light rains are expected any time between 6th and 8th of January. Meanwhile, due to fog in Chennai, around 6 flights were diverted this morning due to poor visibility amid the foggy weather conditions. 10 flights were delayed. A total of 5 flights were diverted. And cold wave conditions continue to prevail in Himachal Pradesh. In many places, temperature was recorded below zero as well. The Met Department has forecast snowfall and rain at several places in the medium and high altitude areas of the state till 8th of January and rains in the plain areas. And now our special segment on environment and climate change. WHO estimates that the climate change is expected to cause approximately 250,000 additional deaths per year between 2030 and 2050. Of these, 38,000 are likely to occur due to heat exposure in elderly people, 48,000 due to diarrhea, 60,000 due to malaria, and 95,000 due to malnutrition in children. Climate change also impacts mental health. For instance, exposure to extreme weather conditions increases the risk of anxiety, depression, disproportionately affecting people who already suffer from pre-existing mental disorders. This leads us to realize the grave need to include the impact of climate change while planning our health strategies. And HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal NISHANK inaugurated the 28th edition of the annual World Book Fair today at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi. The book fair, organized by the National Book Trust, will run till the 12th of this month. As part of Mahatma Gandhi's 150th birth anniversary celebrations, the theme of the fair is Gandhi, the writer's writer. The theme underscores the influence of Mahatma Gandhi on Indian literature and some major authors of India and abroad, and also brings into focus the aspects of Gandhi as a writer, as an editor, journalist, publisher, printer, a mass communicator par excellence. The fair will be open to the public daily from 11 in the morning to 8 p.m.
बड़ा बनना है तो बड़ा विचार चाहिए, बड़ा दिल चाहिए, बड़ा समर्पण चाहिए, बड़ा संघर्ष चाहिए, बड़ा धैर्य भी चाहिए। और बड़ा संघर्ष, बड़ा धैर्य, बड़ा विचार, बड़ा दिल, बड़ा मन इन किताबों से ही आएगा। जो ये साहित्य है, ये सबसे बड़ा मित्र है दुनिया का, सबसे किसी भी व्यक्ति का सबसे बड़ा मित्र है। क्योंकि गीता में भी कहा है कि ज्ञान के बिना मुक्ति नहीं है। और ज्ञान कहाँ मिलेगा? ज्ञान कहाँ मिलेगा आपको? ज्ञान मिलेगा आपको पुस्तकों से। अंत तो लक्ष्य हमारा ये है कि कोई भी धरती पर दुखी नहीं रहना चाहिए। सुख, शांति, प्रगति की उसकी सीमाओं तक पहुंचाना, पराकाष्ठा तक पहुंचाने का काम इन पुस्तकों का है, इस पुस्तक मेले का है। और एक बार पुनः मैं आयोजकों को बहुत सारी शुभकामनाएं देना चाहता हूं। इस विधा से जुड़े बहुत सारे लोग होंगे, उनका अभिनंदन करता हूं, बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
And with that, we wrap up this edition of Midday News. Thanks for watching.